So I have this simulator here. I had you sign up for it. It's in Tinkercad. And I was able to pull in an Arduino over here and a breadboard over here. And the first thing that I want to talk about is how the breadboard works, how it's set up. So you have a breadboard, and they're all pretty much set up the same way. You're going to have these longer lines that run one direction. In my case, it's right to left. If you turn your board the other way, it'll be up and down. But they're all connected in this long direction. So what I've done here is there's a plus mark on here. What I've done is that's just a reference for me. I can take a wire from my voltage source, my 5 volts over here, and I can plug it in to this line here. Now, since it's plugged in on this side, every single hole that's selected right now that you can see that's highlighted could have a wire plugged in and it would see those 5 volts. This one here that has the minus, I'm going to plug that into ground. So I plugged a wire into ground, and now you can see that everything over here is able to be plugged into ground as well. If I look at these ones on the inside, that's where I'm going to plug in my actual components, things like buttons and sensors and LEDs. Those are connected the opposite way, but they're not connected this way. They're also not connected over this gap here. So these 5 holes are all connected. Those 5 holes are connected, but they're not connected together, just like they're not connected with this one. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set up an LED. An LED will give off light, and the short leg is your negative, and your long leg is going to be your positive. An LED only needs about 1.5 volts to run, and as we can see right here, this is 5 volts. And so if I were to connect it directly, I just take a wire here, the negative is going to go to negative, and the positive goes to positive. If I were to run my simulator, it shows me that it's going to blow up. It's not going to work because I put too much voltage into it. So what I need to do is I need to limit that voltage, and I'm going to do that with a resistor. I have to put a resistor in, and the key here is one side of my resistor is plugged into the same holes that my negative side of my LED is plugged into. You'll see that these are all highlighted. They're connected together. The other side of my resistor goes to a new set of holes that doesn't have anything else plugged in. There's resistor on this side, nothing else is plugged in here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a wire and connect it to ground. You can see that this is a circuit. It starts here, travels along here. All these are connected. So then it travels through here, which is connected to this. It has to then go through my LED to get to this side, which is connected here, through my resistor, through my wire, back to the wire, and now it goes to ground. So it's a circuit. It should work. I'm going to tell you this. There are ways to calculate it, but for these LEDs in an Arduino, what we're going to do is we need to use a 330 ohm resistor, and those are the ones that we gave you that are the orange, brown. So just make sure you're using that one, and then you shouldn't have any problems with LEDs blowing up or anything like that. So now if I start the simulation, it's on. And it's going to stay on. It's not flashing. Even if I have a flashing code on here, which I do have, if I look at my code here, you'll see that I have it supposed to be flashing on pin 13. Same code that we've seen previously. But it's not flashing, and the reason for that is because I haven't plugged it into pin 13. I plugged it into 5 volts, which means it's just going to constantly be on forever. If I want pin 13 to be controlling it, I'm going to delete this wire. And instead of connecting it directly to the power source, I'm going to connect it to pin 13. Now if I start the simulation, the circuit goes from pin 13 through the LED and back down to ground, which means that the power that pin 13 is giving is controlling it, which is the one we're turning off and turning on. So there we go. We can see that it's flashing.